What's going on, guys? Week 1 of the 2012 NFL season is now in the books. I was just as excited as everybody else for the Week 1 games to get underway and for the NFL season to be back in 2012. It was an exciting offseason, and now Week 1 is over. And so I wanted to go and recap the games this week and then go over my picks I had this week. And so I already talked about the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants game on Wednesday night last week to kick off the 2012 NFL season. I had picked the Giants to win that game, and Dallas came out and showed a lot more balance than we've seen from them in the past, and that's due to Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne in that secondary. They played very well against Akeem Nicks and Victor Cruz. Tony Romo had a phenomenal game, and the Cowboys got the victory in that one, 24-17. On to Indianapolis and Chicago. This game actually went pretty much the way I thought it would go. Chicago has some new talent on offense with Alshon Jeffrey, and of course Brandon Marshall reunited with Jay Cutler. Finally, some real receivers for Jay Cutler to throw to, and it paid off. They got a 41-21 victory. Andrew Luck threw 3 picks in his debut, and Jay Cutler's already been reunited with Brandon Marshall and hooked up for a touchdown pass in this game. And then on to Philadelphia and Cleveland, which I just finished up watching actually through NFL Game Rewind. And speaking of NFL Game Rewind, I really like it a lot so far. I just got the subscription for it a few days ago. I'm able to go back and watch all the games from every week in the NFL season, and so I can catch up on all the games that I missed. And so I watched Philadelphia and Cleveland, and that was just a very hard game to watch as far as offense goes. Both teams had very poor offense. Philadelphia, I expected a lot more from them, but they did not run the ball much in the first 3 quarters. They were passing the ball a lot with Michael Vick. He threw 4 picks in this game. And then once he threw that pick 6 to DeQuell Jackson, they decided to run the ball, and it works. And that's what happens when you have LeSean McCoy. He's a very good running back, and he was able to pull off some good runs in this game. And they ended up getting the victory 17-16, thanks to a Michael Vick touchdown pass to Clay Harbor. And then on the Browns side of the ball, I thought their game plan, their offensive play calling was like watching a preseason game. They have offensive coordinator Brad Childress, whom I'm very familiar with, being a Minnesota Vikings fan. I don't believe he calls the plays. I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. Leave a comment in the comment section if you do know who calls the plays in Cleveland. But Brandon Weeden looked very shaky. He was throwing a lot of interceptions in this game. All they were throwing really was slants. It was just slants and dump-off passes. Their idea of creativity in this game was a screen pass to Trent Richardson. It was just power running up the middle and then slants, and it didn't work at all in this game. And their defense kept them in it, but in the end they could not hold on and suffered a 1-point defeat. I had Philadelphia winning in this game 31-13, and obviously they did not play as well on offense as I thought they initially would. On to St. Louis and Detroit. I expected the Lions to play a lot better on offense and for Stafford not to make as many mistakes as he did. 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 to Cortland Finnegan. Calvin Johnson was over 100 yards in this game, but Stafford couldn't find the end zone until late in the game when he found Kevin Smith in the end zone to take the lead, and they held on for a victory 27-23. Didn't get to see a ton of this game, so I'm definitely going to go back and watch this one. On to the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins, and my prediction for this game was one of my closest on the entire week. I predicted a 27-9 victory, whereas it was a 30-10 victory, and Arian Foster was questionable in this game, but he did start, and he did get 2 touchdowns on the day on the ground. Andre Johnson also had a good game with over 100 yards and a touchdown reception. Ryan Tannehill had a tough first game as a rookie with 3 picks on the day and no touchdowns. Then after the game, Matt Shaw was awarded with a 4-year contract extension. On to Kansas City and Atlanta, and first off, Julio Jones is a big-time receiver. He makes so many great catches, 2 touchdowns in this game. Tony Gonzalez also had a touchdown catch in this game in his return to Kansas City. He dunked the ball through the goalpost like he used to do when he played for the Chiefs. And Matt Ryan flat out had a phenomenal week. I expect him to have a monster 2012, and he's off to a very good start this season. And Matt Castle also looked pretty good in this game. A lot of eyes are on him in Kansas City to see if he can step it up a notch, because this Kansas City offense has some talent on it with Dwayne Bowe, Jonathan Baldwin, Jamal Charles. And if Castle plays well, I think this team could be a wild card contending team, but we'll see how this season progresses. Matt Castle is one of the players I really want to watch closely this year, because I think this is a big season for him. And also for the Atlanta Falcons, Brent Grimes, their top cornerback, suffered an Achilles injury in this game. He has been put on the injured reserve, done for the season, possibly done in a Falcons uniform because he had signed a 1-year tender in the offseason. But in the end, the Atlanta Falcons came out on top with a 40-24 victory, and I had also picked the Falcons to win this game. On to my personal game of the week, being a Vikings fan, the Minnesota Vikings and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Vikings offense got off to a very slow start, but Percy Harvin took this game over, as well as a spark from Adrian Peterson with 2 touchdowns in this game in his return. It was a successful return, and Adrian Peterson suffered no setbacks, had a great day, and he was a big part of why the Vikings won. But also, Percy Harvin, this guy, I know I'm a Vikings fan, but I gotta say, Percy Harvin is a very special player. He is so tough to bring down, and not just this game. I've talked about this a lot. Percy Harvin has deceptive strength. When you combine that with his speed and agility, you have a very complete package at wide receiver. He's also a very good route runner, and he was moving piles in this game. He was tough to bring down, wasn't going down on first contact. But on the other side now for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I was really impressed by their offense. Blaine Gabbert looked very different in this game, although it was the Vikings secondary and their vanilla cover 2 zone defense, but there was a very good showing from Blaine Gabbert. Justin Blackmon had a catch early in the game, and I was worried he would take over, but he really did not have too much of a presence in this game. He had a few catches overall, and one big one towards the end of the game on 4th down and 3. But MJD was also back. He ran well, although he was not as fast as he typically was, but he ran with a lot of strength, and the Vikings were able to contain him pretty well. He wasn't able to take over the game, but MJD is back. He should have a very good season, I think. And of course, with 20 seconds to go, Cecil Shorts caught a 39-yard touchdown pass from Blaine Gabbert, beating Chris Cook on the play in single coverage. Where was the safety help? What was the play call in that situation? But obviously, I was not very happy after that pass. But then Christian Ponder, he took the team down the field in 2 plays with a big connection to Devin Aromashodu, and then a little dump off to Kyle Rudolph. And then rookie kicker Blair Walsh, 55-yarder, a 38-yarder in overtime, and the Minnesota Vikings held on for the victory. And my closest prediction of the week, I predicted a 24-21 victory with a game-winning field goal from rookie kicker Blair Walsh. The actual score was 26-23, but I was very close on this one, and very happy to see my Minnesota Vikings go 1-0. On to one of the surprises of this week for me. Most of my predictions had been right up until this point, only one was wrong, and now it starts to get a little bit more interesting. Washington at New Orleans. I expected Robert Griffin III to be impressive this year, but I didn't think he would start off this fast. He looked phenomenal in this game, easily the most impressive rookie in week 1, and one of the most impressive quarterbacks overall, and the Saints were, I thought they would come out kind of like the Giants. I mean, a lot of this I thought would come with the emotion, and then the Saints feeling like they had the world against them this whole offseason, but the Redskins showed up, and they came to play. They got the victory. My prediction was completely wrong. Drew Brees though got me some nice fantasy points, but clearly they have some work to do if they want to be competitive with the Atlanta Falcons, who had a very good week 1. On to Buffalo and the New York Jets, and this was my worst prediction of the week. I had nothing right about this game. I thought Buffalo would be one of my surprise teams this year, and maybe they still will surprise some people, but I thought their defense would be phenomenal, although I don't think Mario Williams is as elite as he used to be. They did add Stephon Gilmore, but man, Mark Sanchez, he had a phenomenal game, and the Tim Tebow callers and the Mark Sanchez doubters, they have been silenced for at least 1 week, as Mark Sanchez had a phenomenal game, 3 touchdown passes, good game for Stephen Hill. The Jets got the victory, 48-28. They scored the most points this week. I had them scoring 3 points in my prediction. Wow. I put too much stock into their preseason showing with only 1 touchdown in 4 games, and yeah, the Jets don't look to be the team that many people thought they were. On to New England and Tennessee. I was pretty much right about this game. The Patriots had a good day on offense, and Jake Locker actually got hurt in this game, but from what I'm reading, he's going to play in week 2. And on offense, actually, for the New England Patriots, was really surprising that Wes Welker had his snaps really cut down. And right now, it feels like Wes Welker is going to be in a Patriots uniform for a whole lot longer. The focus was definitely on the tight ends in this game. Tom Brady played well, which is a surprise to nobody, and Chandler Jones and Dante Hightower combined for a forced fumble and fumble recovery for a touchdown to show that their defense was definitely improved, especially on the front 7. And Chris Johnson also had a miraculous 4 yards on 11 carries. Very, very impressive. Almost half of Jake Locker's 11 yards, but not quite. And my prediction for this game was a 31-20 victory for the New England Patriots. They ended up getting the victory in this game, 34-13. On to a battle of NFC West rivals, the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. I had expected the Seahawks to win this game, actually, 27-17, and this is another game I didn't get to see a whole lot of, but John Skelton went down in this game for the Arizona Cardinals, and so once again, Kevin Kolb gets another chance as Skelton looks to be out for 2 to 4 weeks, and we'll see how Kolb does in that time. But I thought in the end of this game, Russell Wilson did what he needed to do to get the victory, but Braylon Edwards dropped the pass in the end zone, which he's infamous for, dropping passes, and that cost the game for the Seahawks as they go down 16-20. On On to a big NFC powerhouse showdown now at Lambeau Field. The San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. San Francisco won this game 30-22 after I predicted a Packers victory 24-20. And one of the things I was wondering about San Francisco was how their offense would be initially. I know they have a lot of new talent, but I wanted to see how they would be in their first game against Green Bay. And Randy Moss had a touchdown catch in this game. I was very excited to see that, being a very big Randy Moss fan. Michael Crabtree had made some nice catches, and Frank Gore was over 100 yards with a touchdown. And Alex Smith continued off his success from last year with only 6 incompletions and 0 turnovers. And once again, that 49ers defense is very physical, very nasty, and a very fun group to watch. And for the Green Bay Packers, no running game at all. Cedric Benson had 18 yards, but of course the 49ers do have a very good defense. And Rodgers played well. He's tough to stop, over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, but a very costly interception late in the game that seemed very un-Rodgers-like, I'd have to say. But the 49ers held on. They got the victory on the road in a very big game in week 1. And then after the game, Jarrett Bush, one of the Packers cornerbacks, had echoed the calling of Clay Matthews and saying that the Packers beat themselves. But it'll be interesting to see what any of the Packers players have to say if they lose to the Chicago Bears this Thursday night on Thursday Night Football. On to the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I predicted a Buccaneers victory in this game 24-20 actually. This is one of the predictions I had a lot of flack for, but I had more confidence in the Buccaneers. And I'm not one of the people that sold on the Carolina Panthers this year as being a playoff team. And the Panthers had no running game this week. The Buccaneers had a nice showing from Doug Martin, rookie running back out of Boise State, and they got the victory in this game 16-10. On to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. My prediction for this game was wrong. I had predicted a Pittsburgh victory 20-17, but you don't doubt Peyton Manning. He's back. He has a good offense around him with players like Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, and Willis McGahee, as well as a very good defense. So really got after Ben Roethlisberger, especially late. And in the end, the Broncos were victorious 31-19. And then on to Monday Night Football last night, the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. I predicted a much lower scoring game and a closer game overall. I had the Ravens winning this one 17-13, whereas they actually won 44-13. And Joe Flacco had a great game. He had a nice touchdown pass to Anquan Boldin, as well as a nice throw to Dennis Pitta in the end zone when he was covered by Leon Hall. Big height advantage there. They talked about a lot in last night's broadcast. But Ray Rice ran the ball effectively. Ben Jarvis Green-Ellis actually ran the ball a lot better than I thought he would for the Bengals. But in the second half, the Ravens ran away with this football game, and Ed Reed also had a pick 6, and the Ravens got a big AFC North win in the process. And the last game of the week, the San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders, an AFC West matchup now. I had the Raiders winning this game 24-10 because they had Carson Palmer and Darren McFadden healthy, but Denarius Moore was a late scratch, and so they didn't have much at receiver. They had like Derek Hagan and Rod Streeter, the rookie out of Temple. Darius Hayward-Bay didn't have a very big impact, and Darren McFadden didn't run the ball as well as I thought he would. He had 15 carries for 32 yards, but McFadden also had 13 catches in this game for 86 yards. They don't have much at tight end or receiver, although Brent Myers did have 65 receiving yards, and Carson Palmer finished with some pretty good stats, but I don't think those stats are at all evident of how that offense actually played in this game. And when I was watching the game, I thought it was just a matter of time for San Diego's offense to finally get some drives together and get some points on the board. And the Chargers had 4 second-half field goals from Nate Kading, 5 total in the game, and they got the victory in this one 22-14. And that concludes my NFL Week 1 recap. If you guys enjoy this video, please leave a like and let me know if you want to see these every week. They're fun to do. For my picks this week, I went 9-7, and I'll have my Week 2 picks up in a video later this week. And I know I talk about some of the games a lot more than others, but I haven't gotten a chance to watch every game, and I don't want to talk a whole lot about a game I didn't actually see very much of. And so I did get to see a good handful of games, and I can't wait for Week 2 to get going. I'll probably have another video out maybe today or tomorrow recapping my week in fantasy football and showing how my team did. But I plan on doing a preview video later this week, previewing the Bears and the Packers. Probably post that video tomorrow or early on Thursday. And then also the Vikings and the Colts game, which is on Sunday at noon Central Time. And so if you guys enjoyed this video, once again, just leave feedback. Let me know if you guys like this stuff. Now that I have some more time, I plan on having a better blend of my NFL videos and my actual series videos going on my channel. And so hope you guys enjoy this and enjoy all my upcoming content. And so thank you guys for watching. Leave your feedback on Week 1 of the 2012 NFL regular season, and I'll see you guys next time.